Alright, hello Riven mains and Yasuo mains alike. I am the Nightwing, Way of Life Esports, coming at you guys with another League of Legends video. As we just wrapped up day 3 of the World's 2019 group stage, we had some interesting games, if you can understand what I mean. We had some pretty close games, we had some pretty stomp games, and then we had some pretty rather bloody games. I feel like for today, the overall narrative of the games is that we don't really know what the meta is like at the moment, because we obviously are still so fresh into Worlds right now. It's only basically day 3. If you count the play-ins, then obviously Worlds has gone on since last week, but it's most of these teams are still getting used to the stage still after all this time. This scrim practice obviously might be a lot different than playing on stage, as a lot of players have been saying that. A lot of the players actually haven't been really giving interviews to a lot of people, which is really interesting. Maybe they don't want to, give away picks or give away some hidden information that doesn't need to be there. Obviously today, when I get to the G2 versus Cloud9 match, I'm going to be pretty mad about what happened. But obviously, I love both teams. Obviously, they're both the teams that I follow the most in esports, and one that I'm proud to call myself fan of both. And obviously, I'll have a video about why I like those teams specifically in months to come. Obviously, I want to get more of a more of a subscriber base where I do videos like that. But other than that, let's talk about what happened today on day 3. So IG coming into this matchup versus Damwon. If IG win this match, they are going to be going 3-0, but obviously that is not the case, because Damwon would like to have a word with them. The Damwon versus IG match was actually one of the more better entertaining matches to watch all day. We had Rookie, the Shy, and Jackie Love basically trying to do as much as they can. Damwon actually silenced the bot lane of IG, which was supposed to be stronger than Damwon's bot lane. IG's bot lane were supposed to come in and basically either a stomp or stabilize Damwon's bot lane to the point where Damwon's bot lane was going to be irrelevant. This has been one of the few standout games that Damwon's bot lane have actually had in a while. Nuclear and Barrel played really well. The Shy and Rookie desperately tried to make plays where they could make plays, and then overall they just completely, lost in terms of how the composition started scaling up. IG had more of a early game composition with the Lucian and the Akali, and then after that, Damwon comes away the winner. Also today, my pick'ems, I went even. I went 3-3. Oh my god. Jeez, because I got this one wrong, and then I got TL right. So I that's 1 for 1, and then I got the okay. So Damwon right, TL. Okay, so it's 1-1. Then I got my FPX right. Okay, so then I lost the Gam one. I don't know, how did J-Team lose to Gam? And then I'm 2 for 2 now. Griffin, and then Cloud9. So I'm 3 for 3 today. It's crazy. But there has been someone keeping track, so please keep track of that. You said I was at 8-4, so that means now I am at 11-7. Oh Lord, man. Let's try and keep the gap where it is, right? Because thank God I had a really good second day. Otherwise, I'd be in the hole right now, like some other LCS teams are. Echo Fox, XD, lol. But next match, obviously, was AHQ versus TL. This was a really interesting game because Jensen and who else? Jensen was running it down for good majority of the game. Not gonna lie, Impact and Doublelift and Core JJ were carrying super hard throughout the game. HQ put up a really good fight. Congrats to them. Obviously the scoreline isn't going to show it for some of these LMS teams, but congrats to them. They've been really putting up a fight to some of the other teams right now, and it's just been the fact that the players are now either really new to World, which is the case, or the returning players just aren't strong enough like they used to be with the other stronger players that the LMS had from back in the day. TL have a really close game against AHQ, but Impact, Doublelift, and Core JJ come through with them, and Jensen is obviously, well, just there today. Fun plus Phoenix is the next matchup versus Splice. Obviously, Fun plus needs to bounce back from their upset over J-Team. Fun plus do that in a very convincing way, and they dominate Splice. It's really not that close. There's not much to say about this match other than the fact that Splice got absolutely trounced on, which I had anticipated. So yeah, FunPlus bounced back and are continuing their streak to go at least 5-1 in the group. The CTB BBC J team obviously lost to GAM Esports today. GAM coming in obviously after they lost to Splice, and J team coming off a really hot win against FPX. GAM's composition with the mid-cled really posed a lot of problems for J team. It seemed like the mid-cled really threw them for a loop, because obviously GAM Esports, or formerly known as Gigabyte Marines, obviously do this a lot at Worlds or any international competition that we have seen them at in the past. Obviously we know that Levi loves his Nocturne pick, and obviously him getting that is GG for a lot of teams. Griffin taking on Hong Kong Attitude. Griffin needing to bounce back from their loss against G2 Esports, and then obviously Chovy. It was Chovy who picked Mid Ezreal. And obviously the game with a Sword playing Jace and their poke composition coming online. Obviously the poke composition got too much for Hong Kong Attitude to handle, and then obviously Hong Kong Attitude fall to Griffin. And then you get to my boys playing. My boys G2 Esports versus Cloud9, a matchup that I really thought was going to be a lot closer, a lot heavy favorite in C9's case, because they played this scaling slow style for a while up until the point where they got aggressive and started, doing their whole fast-paced play style. But obviously it's really hard to say. I don't know why Reaper chose to put Sneaky on Cassiopeia. What I liked about yesterday was that they gave him Heimerdinger, and if he's not a strong player right now, which he's not, and he's not good right now, giving him Heimerdinger means, well, he's obviously gonna be a more of a safer, reliable damage source, which is good. You want to have your weakest players on comfortable stuff, because you obviously don't want them on carry stuff, because he's not going to perform very well on it. I thought that was a great idea, until I see today. Cassiopeia is some would say she's a really skill-intensive champion. And some would say it's really hard to play her in the bot lane now. Some would say also you probably shouldn't draft that while drafting Zion Rakan, so she roots Cassiopeia from a distance. Licorice played out of his mind today. He played great. I thought Niski played pretty fine. I thought that Blabber shouldn't have been in the game. Some people said that it was a strat because of scrims and how they know how Svenskeren plays. It really doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, guys. You have to understand that Svenskeren is just the better player, and this is Worlds, and they did this last year too. Like, they let Blabber play up against Gen G, which I don't know why. Like, I understand you want to give him time and he deserves it. Does he really deserve it though? Because you have to understand that these are Worlds games, guys. These aren't like LCS games where you get 9 more weeks to come back from it. This is 4 games you have to hit or you're out. And, I love both teams. I'm glad G2 won. It's not to diss on G2 or anything. They played great. It was a pretty good match for 20 minutes in. And, you had Perks obviously playing really well. I was wrong about not putting Perks as my best players to watch in the world. Hey, we're all wrong about stuff. Obviously, they all played decent. Caps and Wonder have been kind of like mini liabilities, but not to the extent where it's sneaky level yet. For one, I like C9's drafting composition. Why bring in Blabber when Svenskeren is the much better player? I have no personal clue. But what I do know personally is they have a really hard, tough time against Griffin tomorrow, because they're going to face Griffin, obviously. And this is the issue coming into that, is how am I going to predict for them when I see stuff like that? It's really hard, and I love this team. I love these guys. I love the org, but it's I'm getting a little mad here. I don't like losing in those fashions. When you lose in those fashions, it's like, why do those things? It's like, yes, you can throw curveballs and stuff like that, but you throw curveballs when you have an edge, because then your opponent really doesn't know what they're gonna do. But nonetheless, G2 win, and I go obviously 3 for 3 for today. So moving on to day 4, and obviously into day 4, there's going to be a break, and then it comes back with FPX's group, where obviously it's not double groups playing after this. It's basically just the solidified groups playing, and then obviously after today, that's where it's going to be. So after this day, today's for day 4, no more 2 group plays. It's obviously after this a day break, and then it's back to just solely focused on group play to see who gets out of the group. And that's where it gets really spicy. So today is going to start off with a banger. You got RNG versus Fnatic. Obviously, Fnatic players on social media have been very, very vocal about Bwipo and Broxa being quite sick, and other members of their staff being quite sick, which, you know, internally is going to cause them to have a lot of problems. We saw Fnatic have a lot of issues with Clutch. They could have lost to Clutch because if Clutch, I feel like, had better players to do what they could have did to win against Fnatic, they would have actually won that game. They looked really competitive in these games against RNG and Fnatic, but right now Fnatic showing that to Clutch and going to go against RNG, and RNG just had that really, really good game against SKT. It's looking like RNG is going to be the one that takes this win, and I'm going to predict that RNG is actually going to be the ones to take this game. Yes, both teams one looks very underwhelming. I'm hopefully I wasn't wrong with my pick'ems, because I thought that Fnatic would come in a lot stronger than they did, and they just really haven't shown it. Or maybe it's just the group being really, really hard. Maybe because, I mean, this is a really, really hard group, but I mean, Fnatic is a team that does well in easier groups, but does worse in harder groups. This is why I always tell people, you know, yes, a team can get out of groups, but you have to look at how strong the groups are sometimes. Fnatic last year got out of a group with 100 Thieves and G-Rex, and basically, obviously they were there with IG, but basically what that means is that the two parts of your group is free. That means it's literally, you have 4 guaranteed wins when you play against those teams, which happen. So yes, there are easy groups, and people don't understand there are easier groups to make teams look a certain way when they're not facing better competition. Obviously, you can clearly tell how strong a team is facing strong competition and then facing bad competition. But right now, I think RNG is playing substantially better, and I'm gonna give it to RNG actually. Clutch versus SKT. You know, honestly, truth be told, when now it's Dignitas obviously posted on Twitter about, you know, them losing to Fnatic, you felt kind of bad, because if Clutch were in like FPX's group, you feel like they would challenge for a second seed, but they're in such a hard group. If they beat SKT, man, hey, that's incredible, but I still don't think it's gonna matter too much in the long run. Even if they did, they're not, and it's just like, if SKT is playing that good of games against RNG, Clutch is not even going to touch them. So RNG and SKT are going to obviously lead the group after week 1 is over for groups. All right, and the next set of teams is FPX versus GAM Esports. From what we saw out of FPX and GAM, I can safely say that FunPlus looks like to be the stronger team at this current point in time. It looks like that they finally got over their day 1 jitters. They've finally realized they need to put on their brain and need to play. Not to say that GAM is bad, because GAM played obviously really well in the last few games that I saw them. But obviously, I'm going to predict FPX for this one, so yes. And then the next team, obviously, is Splice versus J-Team. Splice versus J-Team is actually a toss-up. Both teams have good things about them right now. I think they're strong in their own specific way, if I'm being completely honest. But right now, looking at what they can do, I'm going to say Splice win, actually. You have Cloud9 versus Griffin. Now, this is a tough one. Oh my god, guys, I really want to say Cloud9. I really, really do. You know me. You know, I really want to do. But after what they showed against G2, you know, it's really weird. They would lose against FlyQuest in the LCS and then bounce back and beat Team Liquid. Whatever. I'm going out with the boys. I'm sticking by my own. God, it's going to kill me if I get the predictions wrong this time. Cloud9 are going to upset Griffin. You heard it here, folks. I don't know how they're going to do it. Sneaky's going to cosplay as freaking Caitlyn and be half naked in front of Chovy, and he's going to fall for her. I don't know. Cloud9 are taking on Griffin. I should give analysis about why. They're going to put in Svenskeren, and they're going to have a much better game. There you go. That's all I can give, because if I try to kind of break down how they would actually beat Griffin, holy moly, then I would probably not have words, because then I would be like, maybe I'm going to talk myself into a corner. But they can beat Griffin. I'm not saying it's insurmountable, because G2 obviously did it. It's just that looking at how much they cannot do at certain moments, which Griffin have the ability to do certain things, makes things a lot harder. The last match of the day, it's weird, G2's always last, is G2 versus Hong Kong Attitude. G2 beat Griffin and Cloud9, the better teams than Hong Kong Attitude, and then Griffin and Cloud9 both beat Hong Kong Attitude. So to think that G2 would lose to Hong Kong Attitude is crazy, right? But they did lose to Fangfu Buffalo 3 times, 2 times at MSI, and then 1 time at the 2018 World Championship last year. So it's possible, but highly improbable. So these are my picks for today. Obviously, here they are: RNG, SKT, FPX, Splice, Cloud9, and G2. I hope Cloud9 comes away with a positive win-red record at the end of today, because after this day, you get a break, and then it's FPX's group, and then you get Cloud9's group, and then they have a rematch against Griffin, and then they have the rematch against G2, and their last match is against Hong Kong Attitude. So, the reason why I'm more sad that they lost than G2 is because I have faith that G2 is going to get out based on the fact that they're stronger. It's easier for G2 to get wins, obviously, than Cloud9 are, because they do have the better players. Cloud9 needs every single win they can get because they have Griffin to compete with. That's why it's hurt. That's why it sucks for them. I could say, like, okay, G2 drops again at Cloud9. They're going to get some wins in their obvious day. But I want Cloud9 to get some wins because I want them to get out of the group. So, see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe, most of all, enjoy. I'm the Nightwing, and Way of Life Esports is signing out. Peace.
Hi there, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.